Before you watch, choose your hat. You're about to watch a training, but what if the real training is happening in you? Are you watching as a scientist, searching for evidence, an investigator looking for clues, a psychologist studying the mind, a coach looking for a lesson, an actor studying the character, a detective asking what's hidden beneath the surface, a student ready to learn, or maybe a teacher without even realizing it? Because in this psychology game, the student eventually becomes the teacher. And here's where it's interesting. What if a single video can contain multiple codes? A clue hidden in the words, a clue hidden in the visuals, a clue hidden in the story, a clue hidden in what you notice, and perhaps the biggest clue of all, what you completely miss. The question isn't just, what am I watching? It's, why am I seeing this? What are you meant to notice? What are you meant to question? What is the universe reflecting back at you? And what might someone else see that you don't? So before you press play, choose your perspective. Then watch it again from another and another. Because maybe the matrix isn't just the world around you. Maybe it's the way you perceive the world around you. Pay close attention. There may be more than one story happening here, and the clue you need might be hidden in plain sight. Well, I'll just tell my secret before anyone, if somebody jumps on or not, right? Well, there she is. I always knew about surveillance. Hello.
Hello, how are
Doing
you?
good. Well, what we'll do is wait a couple minutes, but if it's just the two of us, instead of me, because what I was going to do is, if like, depend, because I didn't really promote this week, I was kind of doing some other things for it. So, which is actually better because if it's just the two of us, I'm going to switch it to then your follow-up, and then I'll get more specific to you from last week. So that'll actually be better. So we'll just give it a couple of minutes just in case. Let me just get this because instead of repeating the same thing, because then that doesn't make sense. Because we'll get your character more like, fully in this. How you doing?
Not too bad.
How was
Busy.
how was your week?
The week, well, I'm off for a bit, but I
Yeah.
mean, I do more when I'm off than when I'm working.
Yeah, which that's the biggest thing is getting like you do need to get some rest too and reset because that's the biggest thing obviously that we want you doing too is actually not doing everything for everybody else, which I know you do,
Well,
right?
it's nice. I dropped Zach and his buddy off fishing in Thorold, and then they walked all the way to DQ and fished over there. And then I just picked them up, I think at 8:30 last night. So it was nice to see them out doing something,
Yeah.
not online.
Where are you? What area are you in?
The
Are you
new part of Thorold, which is pretty much Welland. Um, if you head towards Welland, take the Merritt exit and all the new houses over there.
did you have any like what about the flooding?
Nothing. Our pond behind us flooded like crazy, but it didn't reach up to us. Like it got on the grass, and that was it.
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah, it's crazy around here. Like just a couple street like lucky. Oh, I was like, oh, thank God, it didn't have an impact, but I feel bad about like a lot of people have and they're the flooding in their basements and then even the streets and stuff around the corner. It's like crazy. I usually go to Starbucks and do some work there and the one like in front it's like a swimming pool.
Yeah, my niece's cousin, she twice they got it. She lives in a basement
Uh,
and that. So I told her once everything's settled, let me know because I got a bunch of stuff I can give them.
yeah. What do they what do they need? What do they
Oh, I have
you
no
don't know
idea.
yet?
They've lost everything, I think, by now because it's the second time. And my sister, it's funny, she lives in Bunting area and that too, but her house, it started a little bit into the cold cellar and that was it. And it wasn't even a lot. I'm like, that's like crazy how everybody else is like a lake out there and somehow.
Yeah, not good. It's I feel bad. And it's like, yeah, hopefully look, people helping out. I'm going through a lot of stuff too and seeing what I can give away and donate to different things as I'm trying to reorganize. I know it's like, and I know when I wasn't, well, it helps, right? That's the whole thing. It's like when people have to consider this, it's like that we were even talking about, like you're no good to anybody else pouring from an empty cup, because if you're like, but and that's an issue. But people that only take and don't give and understand that that's like the metaphor of here. I'm a character, yes, and I'm a real human, yes, but I need to recharge my battery. And this is the issue, is that when we're brought up really in a way of helping everyone else before you help yourself, the dangers of that, and that's not honest. We think
Yeah.
and we tell ourselves it is, but that it's not. I had to, and it because we're afraid of being the villain. But the truth is, and that's why I use so much of the cartoons and parallel. Um, a lot of what I do even behind it, like so it's like Stan Lee's a big inspiration behind a lot of the stuff that I do, because it's that character, like why it created even Spider-Man in the first place, because it's like the here at this time in this role. And then when I talk about in 2020, I was talking about what challenge are you in? What challenge are you in? There's the personal development trivia that I say is the whole world, under elegantly outrageous, the whole thing. Then the individual and how that piece as an individual, it's everybody's individual responsibility to learn their own purpose. I've always
Hmm.
believed in a God, but I was quote unquote raised by monsters. I could argue
Hmm.
almost with it, but that's the yin and the yang. So we as humans, if we don't understand our darkness, our own, that's the most biggest form of dishonesty, because people go, if even like so go extreme, like my stepfather was like an actual sadist and the type of abuse that I faced. And what, but you don't understand that as a child, and then you're like that leads to a lot of things. But that's not the excuse, because ha ha ha, Satan can't make anyone do anything. That's ego. Nobody can make anyone do anything. There's always a choice that we're not, but and then the people live in judgment of people that make those choices. But if they haven't gone through that to understand it, they haven't lived. That's almost like we were talked about the loop, but that's stories that are in our head because our brain's millions of years old. And a lot of people, the biggest issue with humans is how they lie to themselves. Even a scenario in a story, the way, that's why as we're doing this, the memories somebody has are only their own based on their own story, based on their own programming. How much can you go back and replay a scene, and that's all, and go through it and go, wait, maybe my memory's wrong, maybe my interpretation is wrong, because we're all going to be blocked by our own prejudice based on our own story, based on what we were taught. We're born worthy, but we're born into a household. Now we have old programming from you're born, there's your brain, but now the environment starts to program you. Now society starts to program you. Okay, so how are you playing back in the world? So people that are so narcissistic that only live for themselves and don't see the rest of the world, same representation. People that don't understand local and the to global. That's both personally as a human, what your needs are. If you don't understand your own needs, you can't be mad at other people for and a lot of people do that. That builds and holds resentment. Oh, so and so didn't do XYZ, and then they build resentment and bitterness. Meanwhile, they didn't express their own needs. That's on they didn't even understand their own needs, and they're projecting that hate and anger. People project hate and anger at celebrities or just out of nowhere. You don't know their life, their people, their circumstances, and how that's you like but or like, cause like I've had hate at me for different, I've gone through all different appearances, different looks, different way. You go, everybody's gonna have hate thrown at them for a different thing. But once you volunteer and you put yourself more public, well, that's scary. But based on who's helping you,
Mhm.
like, so there's fear. So if to be seen sometimes, why, when, where, and why, where does that come from in certain areas? Like, so a lot of people need academic, like, oh, I believe in order to be worthy, I need XYZ so I can speak at this certain thing. And it's at certain times. So it's like the metaphor of Darwinism. Yeah, well, you're not qualified, so shut up. You shouldn't be talking on this because that leads into entitlement of there's a lot of people in the wrong positions from entitlement that haven't earned that because they're related to so and so. They're right. That's a history of like the whole world's a pyramid, like in how that's operated in humanity made systems. That's what we talked about. So the playfulness of this, that's how an education of story, when I say the world's largest trivia game, is thinking of the whole world as a video game for fun. Okay, the whole world. So you gotta now pretend you're an alien. Ha ha. So you're looking at Earth, right, from a different perspective. Now it's like you're going in further and further and further, almost like you're looking through satellites and cameras, and now you're seeing your character. Now there's you. So you have two perspectives. One, look up. Oh, right, I'm here. I look up. No, there's the alien creeping me. Okay, now you're the alien looking at yourself and the character. There's local and global on how you're creating that character, and now go into when you're a superhero and when you're a villain and the characteristics around that to try to understand the villain. Those who have lived long enough can go, yeah, I can see where I'm the villain here. Some people are going to make me out to be, and that's the hard part because saying no at times and letting people down, but true friends when you're not okay and true loving family members when you're not okay and you set boundaries would respect that. People that are using you only will not respect. That's what this is. Get more when you have, yeah, okay, good looking, got money, you're in a position of power, you're giving away things. It's easy for people to love you because they're using you. Majority of those people do not have friends. And majority of those people didn't understand they don't have friends because that's where like they're separate from the group. I even at times I had to understand like when I was always more comfortable. I could get up on a stage, do a speech, like no problem. How connected are you to the audience? I don't like interacting and socializing as much. I was always like shy, so extreme social anxiety from insecurities on that. But to get up on the stage in a performance, well, if you're not truly like I could connect with the audience, but to really then now it's more personal. It's still I was always performing, but I didn't understand where that came from. My abuse separated me from my body as a child at a young age. Coming back into it, well, now that's the difference. But a lot of people experience it. Where most humans do, it's just the degree at which they do it, the disassociation. So the test is to know when we're doing it, why we're doing it, and then to understand that. When am I playing a role outside myself? Whose eyes am I looking through? And a different one could be that's like spirits, right? Your mom, like if people are past, mom, dad, grandfather, because that's in the lines. And that's the education of what we call avatar. So it's like, here, I'm a director of a movie. Now, this is the actor. Okay, or how are you taking directions? Are you flipping? Are you understanding that? You got to doing it with your own life. That's an avatar in the game of a character. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna, because did you have a chance to think about the questions?
Yeah, I'm not sure how well I did, but I
No,
did come to answer
there's
them.
nothing that's wrong because this is for you. So why don't you
Mhm.
now come back and talk to me about those questions?
Well, okay. What character do you show the world? A superhero that can do everything for everyone and appear to be okay. That's a good and downfall. Um, what does the character need people to believe about me? I'm strong. I never tell them or let them see me cry. I don't know what that one part was about. Oh, I never tell them when I'm not okay, and I never let them see me cry. What happens when I can't maintain that character? I myself tend to isolate or shut down or just dazed, phased out. Who am I when I don't have to perform? I honestly weirdly don't know. I put a mask on every day, not to fake my kindness, but to hide the pain and scars and fears. I try never to show that side.
And that makes perfect sense to me. So what we're gonna do with our challenge next, like this week's challenge, I'm gonna go, is I want you to find your villain. And we're gonna
Hmm.
have some fun with the character because that's what's holding in the biggest fear as a people pleaser is the person you are quote unquote abusing is yourself. And that is a problem. And the fact you don't see a problem with that yet, I think you're still is the because if you're allowing other people to do whatever while you treat them so good and you're not, that's like how are you going to fight back? You're just going to let people do whatever and you're going to try to teach your kids and you're going to try to teach your or people you love to defend themselves, but you're not showing that as an example. You don't think you're worthy? Why?
I do want to have a limit, and I have had that limit where it's blown up. Um, my mother in law, do not speak to her, will never speak to her. I moved her into our home. I can't even remember what year. Chase was only in kindergarten, I believe. And he gave up his bedroom to her and that. And because of his autism and anxiety and everything, one night she turned around right in front of him and said, "You need to get that kid into a mental hospital." And I lost it.
And
I
that's
snapped.
so the fear of when you snap and what happens. Okay, so that's one thing, and then but it's like you still there was that's a represent. There's so much energy that came at you, and you didn't agree with her. Okay, you snap, and you're sticking to that because like, all right, I'm like screw you type of thing. How does that feel? Like when you're actually what did you go through in emotions afterwards?
During that time when I snapped and I saw him behind me, I wanted to, I know it sounds bad, but I wanted to kill her. I didn't hit her because she said, "Go ahead, hit me. I'd love to lay charges on you."
That's
And I,
exactly so you did that's exactly what she wanted. That's
yes.
where like so that's nope, that's not the way to deal with it. Not in the
No,
3D world. You can't.
I walked the wine glass out of her hand because I made it special for her and watched it break, and I enjoyed it because it was
So
her favorite wine.
brutal honesty. So in real world, that's honesty. I want to kill her, okay? In real world, like in your head, but you won't.
Hmm.
And you're not going to
No,
snap that you had control of your emotions. So you're not going to physically. That's the thing with physical violence, right? All violence needs to be controlled. That's where I'm on the side. That's where the outlet of martial arts and people understanding the healthy outlet of a proper fight on any level on it with anything is proper match. When there's an imbalance of power, the person in the power position who abuses their power is always the coward. But in order to fight that, so if you've been in a powerless position, you have to understand yourself and play a different game. Otherwise, you will be wiped out and that could be money, power, job, status, parent, teacher. The power position, if they abuse their power, are the cowards. To understand that, but it doesn't. You have to play the game quote different. Otherwise, they'll keep doing it. But it's like they're a bully. But the only way to deal with that is that one bully has to take out another bully. The representation of fighting and martial arts is controlling that energy, and there's times where violence humans have most violent book is the Bible and any religion and how humans are. So what they do goes back, blame the internet, blame social media, blame video games. But no, these things are always going to be in existence. They change how they're in existence. How are you mastering it, using it, understanding it? It's a responsibility. Now, how is it pushed on people? And well, then it may be, and what that is, because there's issues where big organizations, abuse of power. Okay, how you can't just keep doing that. And it's like both corporate rights to rights within the company. Hold on, we have a corporation. I have rights as a corporation that if you're not doing your job, I need to get you the hell out of here. But wait, I can't now because there's all this BS in front of it. You're not doing your job. But on the flip side, hold on, this is what this job is worth. This you're not paying. I'm being a bit like it's both, and people needing and responsibility, and that's a representation of kind of everything. So back to our villain and the playful, or what I want you to think about right now. I'm trying to find. I have too many things, too many slides that are like disorganized, but is represent like your feelings. It if you were to draw and create because you've created and you see yourself the superhero and you're going in and saving everybody, but that's burnt you out, right? And that's where you are right now is from exactly that. Is if I want in creating your character in different roles, and that's why I see like when Darren first created when we were developing this in 2019, um, developing the characters, and he's a like what he does is actually like a Hollywood director. He like he did X-Men, like the graphics, like suits, all that. Like so if they're filming Suits in Toronto, the background's Toronto, he takes it and then makes it somewhere else. Like a lot of people, that's why a lot of people don't even understand basic AI or media. Like, of course, just because the eye sees it doesn't mean it's true either.
Mhm.
And that's how media influences things and like, information from country. That's why you have to understand the whole thing and then your role in it, right? It's the responsibility of that. Um, Trying to find if I have, if not, I do, I just don't, because I have so many worksheets and different things. Let's see. I'll use this one. In relation to, so we'll go to, let's see, no, we're going to do core beliefs, but core beliefs around the fear of being villain. So if people didn't like you, then what? And then I want you to be more specific of who, if they didn't like you, then what? And then like what the fear underneath that is. This says I didn't do this formally because I'm making this up personally for you. But I instead of we're not at building new beliefs yet. We're at uncovering the old ones. So I just want you to try to like get into that understanding. So we're not going to look at this. It's just coming back to you developing a villain. Okay, what is that what would that villain do? Because have you ever seen the movie uh, Megamind
Yes.
with the blue
Yes.
head? Yeah,
Yes.
nobody's born a villain. The
No.
understanding of how that's developed and the brain on why, well, there's different people who make different choices based on different things, and that's not an excuse. You have to, it's a representation of nobody can blame, oh, Satan made me do it. You couldn't fight Satan? Well, you're weak because nobody does anything they don't want to do. Okay, people are in situations, sex trafficking, extreme abuse. They don't even know. I didn't like they don't on that it's layers of the brain that need to be healed. But if somebody doesn't want to heal themselves and understand their own actions and take responsibility, they'll never be healed. Somebody's suicidal. If they don't want to save their own life, nobody else can save it for them if they don't believe they're worthwhile. Nobody. But there's two. I tried to kill myself once. I didn't give anyone a warning. And I didn't understand it then. I do now. And it's from like so much abuse, and the manipulation of everyone. And I always believed everything was my fault. Flipping that and understanding the difference though of because like for me, the peace of death. So even since what happened in 2020, I spent the last 5 years because of the damage the doctors did, 100% in such a clinical depression and suicidal thoughts every day. I want to live, but I have the restrictions of people not doing their job that claim they could. I am so angry. What am I doing with that anger though? I'm using it as fuel in education. Anger is necessary, but if it's not targeted right and it's not understood, that's the issue. And then you have the flip side of people just getting to be angry and they have tempers. Well, that's abuse of power. And right when they get to just be, I call it baby boy bitches in a way, they get to be, it's such a privilege. Just spew off your temper and you're not understanding what you're doing is affecting this household. That's like the representation of the angry father. Do as I say, not as I do.
Hmm.
You're not guiding as a parent. That's weakness. I had to understand why I didn't respect my father. I feared him, but I didn't respect him. And I'll still show respect, but I don't respect him because that's a coward. And it is. That's not a way, that's not a leader. That's a dictator. I can't respect that. So, homework is creating this villain, this character, even like start to visualize it even with costumes and like fun and character, but around the fear, like like you know what, I'll send you a couple questions specifically. I think that'll help, and then you have it and then we can do it that way.
Okay.
Okay. All right, well, it's good seeing you and we will talk, and I'll send you those soon, or your homework.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great day.
You too.